And welcome back to the third ever episode of the NBA Outback Hoops Happy Hour. How are you today, Frosty?
Yeah, good, mate. It's been a good morning of basketball.
Yeah.
Game 7 and a Game 2.
Adios. Good couple of games this morning. Even yesterday's Game 7. Both Game 7s had pretty wild finishes, actually.
Oh, man. I was on the edge of my seat this morning. Bucks, Heat. Everyone knows I'm a Heat supporter. I pretty much threw something at the TV when Goran Dragic was called for that foul on Middleton.
Yeah, you've shown me the footage of it. That was fucking cooked, eh?
But I can happily say that Jimmy Butler got a make-up call at the end there, and the right team won the game.
Yin-yang, all that happened.
Exactly. And then, obviously, Houston, OKC, Chris Paul up to his cheap little tricks again, mate.
Trying to claim that timeout.
Yeah, claiming stuff.
I love how he's just clapping. He's like, no, I was calling timeout. I was calling timeout.
All that stuff.
Yeah. But he had a fucking cracking Game 7, to be fair to him. The triple-double almost pulled it out for him.
James Harden struggled again, but defensively came up big time clutch. Clutch players aren't just offense.
He did what he had to do to win.
Defense. Yeah, exactly.
You give James the credit there, even though he had an off shooting night, playoff. So I guess we've sort of half started. We'll kind of recap where the playoffs are so far. Sort of East was pretty pedestrian, really.
We talking round 1?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking round 1.
Anything of note from the East series for you, really? Like anything that stood out? Oh, we've Hey Siri'd your phone there.
Yeah, Hey Siri'd it. I would say probably the Boston sweep of Philly. I think obviously that cost Brett Brown his job because I felt Joel Embiid was playing really well in the series, but Brett Brown didn't do enough to get him the ball. Because sort of what I predicted, I was sort of like, if Embiid, if they can get him the ball, he can dominate Daniel Tice. He was in position. They just wouldn't find anyone to get him the ball. Josh Richardson struggled late in games, but he had a good series as well. But then they just didn't have enough, and Tatum's just at a whole new level, man. He's averaging 27 and 10 on 48, 45, and 88 splits
insane.
Through these playoffs.
Yeah,
six wins. But they just couldn't do much about that. Philly just went down. Brett Brown got fired.
Yeah. It was bound to happen to an extent. They were obviously going to fire Brett Brown before they pulled the trigger on getting rid of Joel or Ben.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're not getting rid of... You're getting rid of the coach first, see if someone can come in and make it figure out, which I heard they might be looking at Mike D'Antoni.
Because contract situation's weird with Houston.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he's at the end of his contract and Tillman Fertitta's a fucking cheapskate or whatever.
Yeah, he is, But yeah, what about you? What did you think, Matt?
Yeah, nothing too. I was a bit surprised Philly couldn't at least get one win out of that series. I was expecting maybe some monster game from Joel at some stage to just sort of propel them over the top of Boston one game. But nothing really impressive there.
Where is it?
I was surprised Orlando got a win against Bucks, but still, the way the Bucks have probably looked in this second round, they're definitely beatable. They're definitely beatable. That's the thing.
The Bucks aren't the same, man.
You struggle in the playoffs if your superstar can't shoot.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Closing lineups. Hold on, I'm just trying to find some Joel Embiid statistics here, just playoff ones. But I can't seem to. But from what we've seen in these first two games, I mean, I came into I did predict Bucks in 7 on the pod, didn't I?
And for the first round,
I think I just gave that more of a professional outlook with a non-biased look. But the Heat were the only team to beat them twice in the regular season. People keep talking to me saying, are you impressed that you win? I'm sort of like, oh no, I sort of expected it. After the way the Bucks looked in the first, after watching the first, they're a completely different team in the bubble. You could see the flaws in the system. When they're not blowing teams out, when it comes to late game heroics, they don't have someone who can just go take me to the promised land.
Because Giannis can't shoot. That's the issue.
Because Giannis can't shoot, and he's very predictable. I heard an interesting stat today. Giannis actually leads the league in offensive charges.
Doesn't surprise me.
Because he's straight line or he spins.
Yeah,
or Euro steps, and it's sort of you just pick where he's going. It's obviously he's a hard man to
Miami, because I was watching a video about how schematically you guys are defending him. You've sort of got
you've got to build
the free
wall.
guys.
Yeah, you build the wall.
You've got the free guys ready to block him off. You're happy to let the guys shoot.
Exactly, yeah.
And they're doing a good job. And Bam's obviously about as
we have
good
lots of personnel to throw at him, so we can because another big thing is if you keep switching him up, he can't adapt.
Jimmy went on him in that second half.
Yeah, like he actually
down.
went the game today. He actually went up to Spoelstra and said, "I want Giannis. Can I have him?" And I think that's a bit of in retaliation to that post game presser that was blown up on ESPN a bit, where Giannis goes, "Oh, why would you ask that?" No, like the defense thing.
Oh no, I didn't hear.
Oh, you didn't hear about that?
Didn't hear what happened.
So some reporter asked him, so did you want to go take Jimmy when he dropped 40 on him? And he was like, Jimmy in the second half, and he was just like, no, I didn't. Like, why would you ask that? He was like, I do what coach tells me to do. Like, I can't remember the full thing off by heart, but it was along those lines, and that sort of blew up. So Jimmy loves a good storyline, mate. He obviously heard about that one and said, I'll take Giannis in the second half. But to Giannis's credit, he brought them back into game today, like single-handedly. Maybe not single-handedly.
You're going to expect greatness from Giannis.
Couple of dunks, couple of and-ones, etc. But where were we there?
We're sort of summing up the East first round, and we've kind of delved into the second round hate matchup. Might as well roll with it and keep rolling with the flow, I guess. We've talked the Heat Bucks series now, I guess. It's in our heads.
Yeah, like me being a Heat fan, they're playing even better than I thought they were going to play. Like
the Heat, you mean?
Yeah, the Heat. Like, we match up extremely well. We finished second in the league in like 3-point percentage, literally a hair behind Utah. But we're also top 5 in attempts. Obviously, everyone knows the Bucks' defensive philosophy to pack the paint. They're happy to give up threes. They just don't want points in the paint. And so you'll notice that when the Lopez twins, whenever you get a pick and roll with the Lopez twins,
they're going under all day.
They'll go under.
Not even under, but
they'll drop because most of their wings have length. So usually, if you've got a middle, so they can recover quite quickly. Because they've obviously got Wesley Matthews, great defender. Chris Middleton's not very a bad defender. Eric Bledsoe, quick as hell.
I had him in my first team all defense in our last podcast. Second team all defense.
Obviously, Giannis is probably one of the best help defenders in the league as well. So it's just they've
Giannis is defensive player of the year.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. He's one of the best help defenders in the league. Like, that was why another thing why everyone was like, well, you're defensive player of the year. Why the man's got 40. Why are you letting him do this? Like, he's got the length and the foot speed to guard Jimmy. Like, it's not.
Yeah, but that's probably the other question with Giannis other than the shootings is his assertiveness. I'd sort of, from my perspective at least, I don't think he's the most assertive person. He's sort of just happy to do what the coach tells him. He's not sort of like the guy, get me the ball and get the fuck out of my way. He's not one of those sort of players, I don't think.
He's definitely...
He's not like that personality-wise. He like that play style-wise, but he's not like that.
He could be.
He's got the...
He could be, but he might just not show it. Like, because he's a nice guy. Yeah. Remember when Kevin Durant was nice guy?
Yeah.
And then he said, like, fuck this, I'm sick of being nice guy. And ever since, he's probably the most hated player in the whole of NBA with Twitter feed. Like, so he showed his true colours. You never know who people are behind the scenes, really. I'm sure I'm not saying he's a bad guy or anything.
Well, it's more... Like, even with the media sort of make guy like once Durant probably said one or two things where they could make him look like an asshole, they've gone with the Kevin Durant's an asshole narrative.
I mean, years though.
I've softened on him.
You softened on him?
Yeah.
But
and to be fair, I've softened on LeBron as well.
Yeah. That's good, man. Good man. But like this Bucks, I predicted Bucks in 7, but I'm leaning more towards now Heat in 5 at this rate.
Sure.
Like, we've copped some of their best games. Each game we've won has been through a different way. Like, the first game, Duncan Robinson had 4 points. Tyler Hero shot 3 of 9 or something from the 3-point line. Like, the 3-point shooters that we expect to do big things, which was what we thought the X factor would be going into this series, haven't really done too much, and we're still winning the games by, obviously, Jimmy Butler, 40 points. Then today was just a combined effort from everyone. Like, the shooting was up there a bit. Duncan Robinson had 13.
He had more than that, didn't he?
No, I think it was like 13.
Hero,
Hero had 17. Bam fouled out in the last bit, but standard sort of 15, 9, 4. Jimmy only had 10 points, and we still won. And Goran Dragic just continues to play exceptional. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. Jay Crowder came through big time as well.
He's always a handy guy you'd love to have on your team come playoff time, Jay Crowder.
He matched up with Giannis really well, puts all heart and soul and everything.
Yeah, because I was watching like another one of those Coach Nick B-Ball breakdown vids where it was about that Miami Bucks
Yeah,
series.
yeah.
And he was sort of saying there's 4 guys that the Heat really throw at him. Bam's the
Yeah.
obvious one, Jay Crowder, Iggy, and then Jimmy
as
yeah.
well. And
and those are probably about as 4 as the best guys you can throw at Giannis in terms of realistic.
I touched on it, but another important thing about defending someone like that is giving them a different person every few trips, because you sort of get used to someone playing D. You go, oh, he might react this way, but then next thing you know, you got big, bulky Jay Crowder on you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, crap, now he's going to do something different. Then you have to adapt to that. And then Derek Jones Jr. get thrown at you. It's like, oh.
Well, they've relegated Giannis to a bloody pick and roll man, like roll man almost, some aspects in their offense. He's just setting picks and bloody roll and trying to get some gravity on him to get everyone else free.
But, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. but yeah, with that series, you're obviously leaning towards the Heat now. I'm probably the same.
I basically I would have said the Heat in 6 or 7, but I sort of wanted, I was like, bit of professionalism for the second pod there. I was like, they'll probably win, but, got to cut out my bias, but I was wrong.
Yeah, you should have just backed them.
Yeah, probably. But
most ESPN experts did. You could just go, most people at ESPN
could have jumped on it. There's not really much to talk about in the Heat Indiana series. That was pretty straightforward. Just
that was
sweet. Yeah,
gonna happen.
Toronto,
if Indiana were fully healthy, that could have been a series.
Yeah, that could have been a series, but I think it still would have gone 6 or 7. Nate McMillan got fired for some I couldn't believe that.
That bewildered me. He's got them to the playoffs the past couple of years.
It's like with
mid-tier
injured stars and stuff. He can't do much. It's like Victor Oladipo still making his way back halfway between here and Miami. Don't even know where his head's at.
He's checking in and out.
Yeah, DeMontis Sabonis wasn't even playing, and they just went, done. TJ Warren, Butler shut him down, mate. But then obviously Toronto, Brooklyn, wasn't much there.
Yeah,
pretty straightforward.
Yeah, most of the East first rounders were pretty shit. West was a lot more interesting though, particularly the 2 middle matchups.
Oh yeah,
like 3-6, 4-5.
Yeah, 7 games, mate. 7 games.
The Jamal Donovan duel, that was just.
I mean, that's crazy.
As a fan, it was incredible.
Combined 5 50-point games?
Something ludicrous like that.
I had a double 50.
Oh. Yeah, they both had 51 game. Jamal had 3 straight 40 plus. He's the first person to do it since Allen Iverson.
Was he?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw there was some elite company they were in, but those fourth quarters.
Yeah.
You know they averaged I think Donovan averaged before Game 7. They averaged 19. Donovan averaged 19. No, Jamal averaged 19, and then Donovan averaged 17 in the fourth. The whole series. That's ridiculous.
Exactly, man. It was just so incredible watching them go back and forth, trading buckets in close, contested games.
They were tough shots as well. Jamal Murray's getting a lot of 45 pick and rolls coming off, and just bang, 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 just clean. And then Donovan Mitchell's just abusing Jokic in the fucking pick and roll. And then just obviously when
hitting
they try
too.
when they try and sort of recover on it because we got to help Jokic out, then bang, step back 3, something like that, or he'll hit up, drive in, kick out, swing it around again, get the matchup you want.
Jamal Murray, he's one I've always sort of bagged out going, he's a chucker, inefficient chucker, but I will say, he does that in the regular season, but he is a clutch chucker. When he needs those shots to go in, they go in. He chucks.
Yeah.
And regular season, it doesn't matter if you miss shots as much, but when shots matter, they go in for that guy. He is a clutch chucker.
Unbelievable.
He makes that shit when it matters.
Series, but Denver got up in the end.
Bit closer to the mic, sorry.
Sorry, mate. Denver got up in the end, so can't really do much about that. That, like I said, could have gone either way. They'll face the Clippers. The Clippers pretty much had their number the whole season. And, I mean, if Donovan Mitchell was putting Jokic in the pick and roll, what do you think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to do?
They'll have a bit of fun with him.
Yeah.
But no one's stopping Jokic for the Clippers.
No one's stopping Jokic, but
they don't have a Gobert like Utah did.
Yeah, but Gobert was there for rim protection. He wasn't exactly locking down, because Jokic does most of his work from the high post.
He was hitting a lot of jumpers, Jokic, but I think against the Clippers he can go more down on the block, because he does have that game on the block, and he's just going to torch Zubac. They might have to give Noah or someone some minutes, if Jokic is really
getting his head or something.
Yeah, just have Jokic Noah.
I reckon at this rate, you'd be happy to let. I reckon it's Jokic's passing that you got to stop. I'd be happy for Jokic to drop 30 on me, but if you can keep him down to 4 assists or something, sort of contain Jamal Murray, because you've got perimeter defenders: Pat Bev, Paul George, Kawhi. Like, I feel like that's the thing you want to stop. Like, if you're Doc Rivers, you're going, if Jokic is going to hit 30 points, he's going to hit 30 points. We want to stop him from getting everyone else involved. Like, because Denver's role players are going to be the X factor in this series. Like, obviously, the Clippers are deep, Denver are deep, and, like, yeah, you sort of got to eliminate Gary Harris. The Gary Harrises of the world, Michael Porter Jr.'s, Jeremy Grant.
Millsap?
Is
he still... I didn't see him in any of the games. I didn't really notice him in any of the... Actually, yeah, I remember him in one of the... I've watched a couple of those games this year. He just had a quiet one, a couple of the games I must have watched.
But yeah, so I think they're probably going to go single coverage on Jokic because I just don't think... I mean, he's an offensive threat, but he's not prone. He's like another one. He's actually hit some big crunch time buckets. Like
he saved their ass in that game. He was big in that game 7.
Massive floater in that game 7. Like a turnaround. Looked the most uncoordinated thing I've ever seen.
I want that hook shot with like...
Yeah, but that's how he looks in general. Like his 3-point stroke with it. But goes in.
Yeah, he does his work.
Can't do much. But I reckon that's probably the key for the Clippers to stopping Denver. I think they're going to probably win in 5, personally. Clippers, because I just think they're too much, and I've Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Pat Bev. Pat Bev's going to try and get under Jamal Murray's skin. We've got to see if Jamal Murray can continue his hot shooting and whatnot. But Michael Porter Jr. was sort of not like stretched out, but he wasn't as good.
He was in and out.
Yeah, in and out of rhythm and whatnot. So I think the Clippers are just too much.
Yeah, it's probably a question of whether or not Denver can pull 1 or 2 games out.
Yeah, like what are your thoughts on that one?
I'd probably similar sort of vein, like I just said. It's more a question whether Denver can win 1 or 2 games rather than the series. I think.
Well, what do you think the X factor is though? Like,
well, it'd be like Jokic. If Jokic they just fed him and he like put up 40 or something a game. Like, I think that's possible if they just sort of told him to just go get buckets. Yeah. If he could do that and absolutely torch the Clippers and force them to do an adjustment they don't want, that could get them another game's win or whatever. But
yeah, you obviously still think
realistically the Clippers get it done.
Staying on the Clippers, that Clippers Mavericks series, man, I would have loved to see Kristaps Porzingis healthy for that. I think that could have been an upset.
Yeah, definitely. Like, for the similar logic I was saying about Jokic, Porzingis obviously scores entirely differently to how Jokic does.
Exactly.
But again, there's no one on that Clippers team that can contain Porzingis when he's
in. It's a big, like, even that series, Doncic coming off the pick and roll, when you're doing that with KP, you're spacing, like, or even not with KP, like, just having him out there draws the other big out of the paint, so Doncic can get in, create, do...
And Kleber's good at, like, Maxi Kleber's probably the main guy that they run it with. And then he rolls well. He's a good lob threat.
And they've got spot-up shooters. Like, Trey Burke pretty much saved his career.
Yeah, he's...
Like, he was on the fringe of, like, just leaving the league.
He just got canned from Philly.
Yeah, he just
probably
got
looking
canned,
at China or whatever.
Yeah, picked up Dallas just before the bubble came in. He was one of their top reserves. He balled out.
Yeah.
And it was crazy to watch. And then like Seth Curry was shooting shots.
He had some cracking games.
He
looked like Steph in a couple of those games.
He was giving.
He was off the dribble.
Doc Rivers, the father-in-law, the wink on the way down. But yeah, Seth was looking real nice. Trey Burke,
Tim Hardaway Jr. had his moments.
Hardaway had his moments. But yeah, I just would have loved to see KP healthy, like, because you could almost argue with those technical fouls on KP in the game when they could have been up 2-0, a 3-0 after Doncic's fucking crazy game on a bung ankle. Like, I would have liked to see a healthy Clippers team versus a healthy Mavs team. But, you know, that happens. It's the playoffs. It's basketball. Happens every year. Stuff like that.
Yeah, especially with a weird year like this, there's always going to be a few curveballs.
Exactly. But
so we've
moved ahead to Lakers. Maybe. What are your thoughts?
We can. I guess we've pretty much previewed we've went through the West first round. So we'll go through that other matchup in the West, Lakers and now Houston. We've found out.
Lakers
we've just
and
found
Houston
out before,
just today. So filming this literally the afternoon of Game 2 of Milwaukee and Game 7 of Houston OKC.
Yep.
But we already sort of discussed that game, didn't we?
Yeah.
Wild finish. Yeah. Crazy stuff. But Houston now onto the Lakers.
Yep. How do you think that looks like? Because it's small ball versus traditional 2 big balls. So it's sort of a bit of that contrast.
It's like, I think it's very similar to the Blazers. So I think I don't know who's guarding James Harden or Russell Westbrook from the Lakers. Like, that's just me personally. Like, Danny Green's a nice team defender and can sort of hold his own. But in terms of like, James Harden leads leagues in isolation points by a mile. Like, I think if he gets Danny Green on an island, especially with the spacing out there with their small ball, like, it's going to be tough.
Even
like,
Eric Gordon's a very underrated creator.
Yeah, creator off the dribble.
If he didn't have the bad run with injuries, he'd probably be closer to that conversation when people have him, sort of like in terms of that level of talent. Like before he
could
had
be
that
20 point per game scorer.
Yeah. He
was in
the
Clippers for a year or two.
He was a killer for a couple of years before he had that brutal run with injuries.
Exactly.
And he still can shoot the piss out of it.
Yeah, exactly. But then you've also got like Russell Westbrook. I mean, if Rondo comes back, Rondo's sort of another body you can throw at him. But like
he's probably an irritant as much as anything.
He's not like prime Rondo.
Irritant rather than a stopper is probably a good way of describing it.
He's not prime Rondo defensively, but it's really all you can do. Like, you can't do much else. But in the same respect, who's stopping Anthony Davis?
Yeah.
The way Anthony Davis has been playing, LeBron rounded back into form. Like, I just can't see it stopping. It's very similar to the Blazers series. Houston might pick up a couple of wins just off sheer like shooting and just unbelievable shot.
Sheer mathematics.
Yeah,
sheer 3-point mathematics.
Analytics, man, analytics. But I think the
MIT basketball, baby.
Yeah, the star power of Anthony Davis and LeBron James, like especially going like LeBron sort of started off. Oh, I mean, when I say start off a bit slow, he had 21, 16, and 17. But for LeBron standards, and then he sort of picked up a bit, started realizing he had to be the aggressor against, because like you had to outscore Portland in this like matchup. Like, the Lakers have a great defense, but Portland with Nurkic and stuff back. Nurkic playing really well.
He's one of the most underrated players in the league, I'd say.
19, 10 and 4 or something, and he's just improved as a team defender. Looks really slim.
Yeah,
stuff like that. But I probably
even Melo.
Yeah, Melo. I forgot about Melo.
Do you reckon he stays there now? Do you reckon he stays in Portland, or he'll sign elsewhere?
I don't think he has any emotional ties to Portland or anything. Like, he's obviously going to be in the open market, but I think Portland will probably try and re-sign him, and he'll be like, just like, from just being like, yeah, you guys.
From what I've seen, he's realised he's on a good wicket there. Like,
yeah, like he's the third option, good role sort of thing. He's happy to sort of spot up, shoot, and maybe end of shot clock creation when Dame's off. CJ might feed him, whatever. You know how it is, just low post, high post, Melo. That's Melo sweet spots. Yeah, jab. A lot of jabs, mate. A lot of jabs.
But a lot of ball, black hole. Bit of a black hole.
I'll probably say Lakers in 6. I can see Houston pulling off 2 games, but I feel like it's always going to be the Lakers series. Even if it goes 6 games, it's just going to feel like you're just going to feel.
They'll feel like they're on top.
It's just going
to when Houston win, it'll just be like they just shot the piss out of it.
Harden went for 40 or something. Russell went for 38. 10 and 10 or some shit like that. But what do you think, mate? What are your final predictions on that one?
Well, I'm sort of thinking probably 5 or 6 for the Lakers. Like, Houston will definitely get at least one game, just sheer microwaving. They'll just microwave. Enough of their guys will get hot.
Sheer analytics, mate.
Yeah, mate. Daryl Morey will get out there with the calculator, get it all sorted.
Yeah.
But yeah, realistically, AD, they'll probably even give Dwight Howard and probably some nice low post looks if matchups permit, like because they'll probably go the 2 bigs. Like, so even if they stick someone who's semi competently can handle Davis, they'll just feed like Dwight or whatever in the post against like PJ Tucker.
But I don't see anyone on Houston's roster being able to handle Anthony Davis.
Exactly. Yeah, no one really. Like,
Robert Covington.
He sort of got the length, but AD just back him down.
Yeah, it's like AD's length's just unmatchable, mate.
Yeah.
And what else have we got? We talk about Boston, Toronto. No.
Oh, we talked the first round, but we'll get into the other second round matchups. So
okay, gotcha.
So which ones have we covered? The 2 West matchups, really.
2 West.
Yeah, so we'll go east. We'll go back east.
We covered the Heat Milwaukee pretty intensely. You got me started, so I couldn't not.
Yeah.
But
we'll cover that last matchup then.
This Boston Toronto series, like, I think it's a lot closer than it seems right now.
And the 2-0 makes it seem.
The 2-0. Like, Marcus Smart shooting 55% from 3.
Oh, yeah, he's
in these 2 games. And then, like, the 5 threes in the fourth quarter, ridiculous. Like, you just, out of all people, Marcus Smart.
Still,
like,
I reckon people are going to get hot in the bubble. Like,
yeah, that's all
You
the
probably-
shooting back. Yeah, like
I was going to say, you'd
the
probably know more.
darkness.
Yeah,
the darkness.
the backdrops
of the
and
thing,
stuff,
like,
yeah.
It's like when you go shoot at the Coburn Arc.
Yeah.
Shout out Coburn Arc, and it's all lit up and everything. It's like, oh, it's a bit odd, but, you know, you got a dark background, just a ring in the backboard. You're a bit better off.
Yeah.
But, what do you call it? I think it's going to come down to coaching a lot. Like, I think Nick Nurse...
Arguably the two best coaches in the league. Probably certainly the two best young coaches.
Come on, mate.
Right.
Spolster's in there. You don't throw that. Fucking...
Is he young these days compared to Dick Nurse and Stevens?
I think so. I think Spolster's only 40-something.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, Stevens is in his 40s and Nurse is probably in his 40s.
I don't know, mate. Just saying. Brad Stevens failed with talent.
He had Kyrie, Mr.
They let down.
They've looked good whenever they haven't had Kyrie there, to be fair.
Yeah,
Kyrie's made his coaching, probably made Brad Stevens' coaching go from like an 8 or 9 to like a 6 or 7 just because he had Kyrie killing whatever he was attempting to do.
Yeah, I think those two are some of the two best like in-game sort of late game execution adjustment types. Yeah. Whereas I think another thing with the Bucks Heat series is Budenholzer is just stuck in his ways. Like he's playing Giannis. He played Giannis 32 minutes. He just refuses to play him over 36. I don't understand it. Like, this is what are you saving him for? This is it.
Sure.
This is it. Backs
He's
against
not
the
Joel
wall.
Embiid. Covered the load
it's
management.
like, and you can see Giannis is visibly like frustrated with it. Like he's literally on the bench. Like gets cut 4 minutes into the game at 7 or 5. Yeah, like 7:50. I saw him out today. No foul trouble or anything. Just sitting there.
That's probably back to that point where I was making before about his assertiveness. If he was that guy, he'd walk up to Budenholzer and say, "Put me in the fucking game or I'll get you fired." They will fire you before they fire me. Put me in the fucking game.
Probably not those words.
Maybe like, I'm exaggerating, but he needs that sort of like.
Yeah, a bit more.
Realistically, if he went up to if he went up to Budenholzer and said, "Put me in the fucking game," Budenholzer would be like, "Okay, whatever you say, Mr. 7-foot Greek freak man."
But I think Toronto are lacking that sort of closer. Very similar to Milwaukee's situation. Like, without Kawhi Leonard, like, they're missing Kawhi Leonard at the end of games. Like, they've sort of got Pascal, but he's not there yet. He doesn't have the creation.
He's similar to Giannis. He's more of a length abuser rather than a
length
skill.
abuser, hustle players. Whereas, you know, the
Tatum.
Celtics have Tatum, cardiac Kemba, mate. Like, you can't... late game situations.
You need at least 2 of those guys on a championship team. But you can just go too late and get a fucking bucket.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think it's going to be a big battle of coaching. I mean, obviously Boston, as we speak, are up 2-0, but I think it's a lot closer than people think. Like, both games have sort of, except for the first one, that was
Boston just ran away with it.
But if it wasn't for Marcus Smart 5 threes in the fourth, which is sort of like whoa, or Pascal Siakam's late game bloody baffles, then we could have had a 1-1 series. And I mean, anyone knows the difference between 3-1. No, sorry, what am I talking about?
1-1 and
3-0 and 2-1. Massive. Like, you're right back in it. Whereas 3-0, you pretty much can see.
Yeah, like traditionally, a series hasn't begun until someone's won away from home.
Yeah, but
we're in the bubble. But still, the mathematics of like a 7-game series still applies, even though no one's playing home or away. It's probably like if you haven't,
But yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on that one. I think it's mostly going to be a battle of coaching and stuff, but then also coaching and then star power and late game heroics and Tatum, Walker. I mean, Tatum's just ridiculous right now. Like, had another 30-point game, 34 or something. Last, he's just...
And they got Jalen waiting if they needed Jalen to...
Yeah, Jalen's a bit inconsistent.
He's not as much of a chuck it to him and get a bucket, but he's got some of that in his game.
Yeah, he's a nice 3-point shooter. There's like, gets out in transition. But two defensive-minded teams, like, they held Toronto under 100 points today. 99 to 102, I think it was. So, but that's a grinded out game. So I haven't actually watched any of them personally, but that's what I've...
Yeah, I haven't caught much of them myself.
Yeah.
I've mainly been watching some of those West games because they're on a bit later. Like, I've caught both of those game 7s, probably nice chunks of that Utah-Denver series because I was enthralled by that matchup.
Yeah, fair enough. But
yeah, I think that's pretty much most of the stuff we've really got covered. We've sort of summed up the 4 matchups in the second round and covered the first.
Just a shorter pod today, really. Just sort of summon in because it's a bit hard to predict and stuff and analyze when sort of games, some series have started, some aren't. You sort of have to wait for the others to finish, and then you're sort of like...
Yeah, we're already halfway through a couple of series, and we've only just had a couple finish from the first round. So
Exactly. But
we've done what we can.
Short and sweet today.
Yeah, bloody oath.
Wrapping up episode 3.
Yeah.
Probably more different kind of videos coming our way. We've got a few ideas happening with possibly involving some Freddo cakes, basketball antics, and we'll sort those ones out soon.
Yeah, I've got a couple myself. Ooh. Cooking up some collabs possibly.
Oh, fantastic.
Bit of a one I've sort of half got in mind's a bit of a challenge between the Cool World Druzy versus Outback Hopes, you and me versus like Cool Tard and Druzy in basketball league challenges.
I don't mind that actually. Yeah. That's not bad.
And Jesse can host because he couldn't hit a shot if his life depended on it.
Neither can you though, mate.
So well, when we do footy, mate, I'll get a bucket. Yeah. Mate, I'll play Druzy one-on-one, mate. I'll sort him out.
All right. I look forward to it. Can't even finish my beer to end it.
Yeah, no signature crack. Yeah, mate.
Sober today.
Sober September.
Done.
Wake me up when September ends.
All right, yeah.